Numerous scientific studies and meta-analysis have been done and published in the world's leading scientific journals that prove beyond any shadow of any doubt that walking and other forms of low-intensity, steady-state cardio are superior at best or just as effective at worst to higher-intensity forms of cardio, specifically when it comes to fat loss, weight management, and body recomposition. I've cycled through a number of the studies on the screen already, and I'll link to those and some others in the comments section of this video. But here I'm going to give you my 5 reasons why I feel that there is no comparison and why walking is by far the best form of cardio for man or woman, young or old, fit or unfit, to lose fat and get the body results that they are after. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into it. 1. Let's dive right into the science. Are you familiar with the term fat oxidation? If not, it's easy but super useful information to understand. So please, if you pay attention to nothing else in this video, pay close attention to the next minute or two. Your body stores extra energy and calories as fat in fat cells. When you need energy, like during exercise or when you haven't eaten in a while, your body can and should break this stored fat down into smaller components called fatty acids. These fatty acids travel through the bloodstream to muscles, the brain, and other tissue that need energy. Once they arrive, they are oxidized or burned in the mitochondria to produce energy. Why did I explain that? So you can understand this simple but necessary concept that's going to make a world of difference to you. Your body stores energy in 2 ways: as glycogen in your muscles and your liver, and as body fat. It uses those 2 different energy stores for totally different things, however. Your muscles store glycogen for immediate energy needs during physical activity. Think of this as your immediate and most accessible energy reserve. When you exercise, your muscles break down this stored glycogen into glucose to fuel contractions and sustain movement. This is especially important during high-intensity exercise, such as sprinting or weightlifting, when energy demands are high. The amount of glycogen stored in muscles can vary, but on average, muscles can store about 300 to 400 grams of glycogen, and your liver can store upwards of 100 or more grams of glycogen, which it can release into the bloodstream when necessary. So, when you do higher intensity forms of cardio, such as running, sprinting, burpees, rowers, assault bikes, your body is tapping into your glycogen stores as its primary energy source, and it has a lot of glycogen to burn, 400 to 500 grams worth, before it can move to its other energy source, which is body fat. However, when you do forms of low intensity steady state cardio, like walking, light jogging, lap swimming, the kind that doesn't get your heart rate pumping into the high intensity zones, your body recognizes it needs fuel, but also recognizes it's not under duress and doesn't need to pump out high amounts of energy in a short amount of time. So it doesn't look to your glycogen stores as the primary source of energy for low intensity cardio like walking. Instead, it oxidizes stored body fat and uses your stored body fat as its primary driver, helping you be more efficient in your fat loss. Isn't science awesome? Sometimes less is actually more. Number 2, when it comes to fat loss, more important than your cardio, your weight training, or anything else is your diet. It's very basic and simple math and science called thermodynamics. If you want to lose body fat, you need to eat fewer calories than you burn, thus creating what is called a calorie deficit. If you consume more calories than you burn, you will find yourself in what is called a calorie surplus. And when you're in a calorie surplus, I'm sorry, it's basic science. I don't care who you are going to gain weight and body fat. So, if diet and the amount of food we consume plays that large of a role in whether or not we gain or lose body fat, and we're talking here about exercise's role in fat loss, we should explore which forms of exercise and activity have the greatest effects on appetite. Lifting heavy weights makes you hungry. Anyone who has lifted weights for any period of time, even if it was back in high school and they are now a 40-year-old couch potato, knows this. I can do a whole video on why that is, but for the sake of time, let's simplify it down to a term called energy expenditure. When you expend a bunch of energy, your body is going to call for a bunch of energy in, thus calories, to be restored. And we as humans suck at stopping once the body has the amount it needs and tend to way overdo it. And to be fair, it's easy to overdo it even if you're an experienced calorie counter without meticulous tracking. Higher intensity forms of cardio like sprinting, running, assault bikes, rowers tend to have that exact same effect. Now, combine a bodybuilding or powerlifting style weightlifting program with some high intensity cardio, and you're going to be ravenously hungry. Without impeccable discipline, it is going to be super easy to overeat and overconsume calories, which is going to lead to weight gain when the goal of the cardio activity in the first place was actually weight loss. Walking, however, due to the low intensity nature of the activity, tends to have zero at best and minimal, if any, effect on your appetite at worst. This makes it much easier to control your diet and your calories in versus calories out when utilizing walking and other forms of low intensity, steady state cardio versus higher intensity options like running, which would undoubtedly spike your appetite, thus putting the onus on you not to overconsume calories while in a ravenous and calorie deprived state. Good luck. 3. Walking is sustainable. You can walk every day. You can take multiple walks per day, every day. Walking is a form of low intensity, steady state cardio, and that is exactly what it is, low intensity. It's easy on your joints. If you're the guy who was going to go all state in high school with a full ride to Clemson University before you blew out your knee, it's easy on your knees. It's easy on your ankle joints, your hips. It's easy on soft tissue like your muscles, ligaments, and tendons as well. You have to be a pretty elite athlete or someone sub 30 years old to be able to sprint every day or even consistently without tearing a muscle or even just running your body down to the point where it's actually doing more harm than good. People of all various stages, from fit to unfit, young to old, can walk. And with any fitness program of any kind, consistency is a key driver of success, and the best ability is availability. 4. Walking is muscle sparing. There is a big difference between losing weight and losing body fat. Losing body fat is always good. Simply losing weight, however, could be bad and actually detrimental to long-term fitness goals if you're losing the wrong kind of weight, which would be lean muscle mass. There are 3 things you can really lose or gain that go into your total weight: muscle, fat, and water. Other things like bones and your organs are constant. Water will always fluctuate up and down at a given moment or a given day based on your hydration, your electrolyte and salt intake, when did you last go to the bathroom, and could vary as much as 2 to 5 pounds from one day to the next. Fat and muscle, however, don't fluctuate as readily. Fat and muscle both take longer to put on and longer to burn off. But high intensity training, such as sprinting, can put the body into what is called a catabolic state. A catabolic state is a state of breaking down, while an anabolic state, which I'm sure many of you can ascertain from the word, is a state of building up. Burning muscle is never something you want to do, because the more muscle mass you have, the higher your daily caloric expenditure is. This means the more muscle mass you have, the more calories you can eat per day while still remaining in a caloric deficit as opposed to a caloric surplus, which we discussed earlier. While high intensity cardio can be muscle wasting when there is not a clear focus on things like protein intake and supportive supplementation, walking and other forms of low intensity cardio are muscle sparing and do not break muscles down, allowing you to continue to support long-term fitness goals and weight management goals by losing the weight you want to lose and keeping the weight you want to keep, which is going to make long-term fitness more attainable by increasing your daily caloric expenditure and have you looking better in a tank top or a bikini. And 5, it can be social and productive. You can do and accomplish so many things while walking. For work, I answer emails while on walks. Almost any call I have for work that doesn't require me to be on Zoom or on camera, I'm taking it while on a walk or at minimum while moving and pacing around my home office or my house. I read industry news and world news and stay up to date on things necessary to keep me at the top of my profession while on walks. It's social. Have a friend you want to catch up with or you haven't seen in a while? Meet them out somewhere for a walk. Have a spouse or significant other that you feel you don't get to spend enough time talking to or you're growing distant from? Go on a couples walk a few times per week. My wife and I have begun this, and it's awesome. We are two busy people raising two teenagers with a ton of parental obligations and responsibilities. It's very infrequent that the two of us have an opportunity to spend quality time with one another, simply catching up and, communicating with one another. Walking has helped my wife and I do just that. And after 22 years of being together and 18 years of marriage, walking has actually brought us closer together. For self-improvement, listen to podcasts, listen to audiobooks, learn a language. You can do all this with focus and concentration while on a walk. Could you imagine trying to listen to an audiobook or a podcast and coherently follow along with the story or the conversation while sprinting? Good luck with that. All in all, the science, the studies, the data, the literature prove it, and real-life practical applications support it. There truly is no better or more accessible, more efficient weight management and fat loss tool than walking. Start counting your steps and get after it, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos. Thanks.